We'll begin, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. So I'll just share my screen. So do I have the access to share the screen? I'm really sorry for this. Just a second. I'll just. All right. Good evening, everyone. So I'm Vichitra again, back again with a session on conceptual teaching. So we all have experienced, heard a lot about concepts, conceptual teaching, and conceptual understanding. So today we are going to explore exactly what concepts are. So I'll just show you a few things on my slide. I would like you all to see it, and I will give you 2 minutes of time to go through it. Yes, I hope you can see this. There are 10 facts given. I want you to look at it for 2 minutes. All right. Now I want you to at least list 5 of them. Can someone give me at least 5 of them? 5 of the facts which I showed you on the screen? Yes.
Ma'am, it was the earth temperature has risen from 12 degree to 12, sorry, it's 12 or 1.2 something like that.
Right.
1.2 to 1800 something 1800 and
Okay.
it was the carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. uh, Methane, it's like methane is from cow. Yeah, methane comes from cow digestion.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, then
Wonderful, Deepa ma'am. Deepa ma'am could recollect 3 of them.
yeah,
Anybody
ma'am. Yeah.
else want to
Ma'am,
give a try?
Ma'am, there
coral.
is one more I remember.
Yeah.
Ice caps are melting.
Yes.
That's what, ma'am. And something was related to polar, but I really don't remember actually.
All right.
Ma'am, polar bears are losing their habitat, and the sea level has risen by 8 inches. And also, the Earth's temperature has risen by 1.2 degrees Celsius in the last, from 1800s. And cow digestion has resulted, it results in the production of methane. And
Okay. All right. Yeah, wonderful. Wonderful. Now I'll show you something else. All right. Yeah. Now look at it for 2 minutes. All right. Yes. Can someone tell me what you can recollect from him?
Ma'am, causes were deforestation, burning of fossil fuels,
Mhm.
and the effects of it were the and rising sea level and crop failure, solution reforestation.
Exactly. Thank you so much. So, good evening,
Ma'am,
everyone. And this is Vichitra from an IB Continuum School from Aurangabad. And it was wonderful to interact with you for this. And I could see that most of the points that were shown in, facts, we could recollect few of them. But when I showed you this particular slide, where it was quite organized, it was easy to recollect, right? So, myself, once upon a time when I was, I started with IB, I never knew this thing about concepts. It was really very new for me. And concepts for me was like subject specific concepts. Like I have to teach, I'm from a science background, so I have to teach photosynthesis, I have to teach, biological concepts, whatever are there. So for me, concepts meant only that. So we used to go and teach and come back. But when I started with IB, I really got an opportunity to explore on this more, and I could enhance my understanding, which I would really like to bring to you all today on your tables. And I would request you all to take maximum out of this session and please take it to your classrooms and implement it. And I'm here. If you need any kind of help, you can connect with me via Ravikant sir. So today's session, teachers, is about conceptual understanding, conceptual teaching, what exactly concepts are. So we're going to explore and understand what conceptual teaching is and why it matters. Then we're going to see the difference between traditional and conceptual approach to teaching. We're going to identify some benefits and some challenges and misconceptions in conceptual teaching. And we're going to see some strategies which you can take it along with you today to implement it in your classrooms. And believe me, this is not a rocket science. It is absolutely an easy thing to do, and I have started enjoying and I've seen drastic change in my classrooms, and I would want you all also to try it out and experience the joy of teaching. So let's see. I've shown you two slides and I've asked you which one was easier, right? So what do you think? Which was easier to understand and remember? Was it this map or the facts that I showed you? Yeah? Anyone?
ma'am, can you please repeat the question?
Yeah. Which one was easier to understand? Was it this map or these facts? Easier to remember, easier to recollect?
Ma'am, the first one, because it was jotted down in the points, so it was very easy to remember also because it was in a point wise. And
Okay.
whereas the second slide was like it was a really cause, and because the main concept was it was not boldly written. So the climate changes and all, like it was difficult to summarize it.
Okay. So Deepa ma'am is saying that she could recollect the facts very well, but this was a little difficult for her. Any other response?
Ma'am, I feel the second one was better because here, you grouped the information and it's easier to remember. Like in the first one where you just gave the facts, they were all haphazard. There was no heading, there was no title given to it. They're just facts. So what were these facts related to? We do not know. It was something, very random. But when you showed the second slide, it very clearly shows that we are talking about climate change. What are the causes, what are the effects, and what is the solution that we can look ahead for? So this was more streamlined, I should rather say.
Okay.
That's my point of view. I mean, others
Yes.
may disagree. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Archana ma'am. Thank you, Deepa ma'am. So I also feel that I've seen it, with my students. When you go to the classroom and teach them and, give them a lot of facts to memorize or tell them that these are the things, and, you're lecturing, you're actually delivering your content there. It looks something like this for them. So when you again ask them to, okay, now retain, and you give your test, um, help them to write their exams and all, then you will find that children can recollect few points as we did earlier. We could recollect few of them from here, and few we miss out. But here, it was quite organized. All these are the same points. If you see, these 10 points are here. So these are the same points, but it's a very logically and organized. It's logically organized. It's properly organized here under the headings causes, effects, and solution. So there is somewhere, a relationship we can see. There are causes, and because of these causes there is some effect on it, and because of the cause and effect we have to find some solution. So there's a logical order and logical coherence we can see here in this the slide. So the manner in which the flowchart is made makes it very easier for children to understand. Similarly, it's the same thing with us. So even with the kids, when they have to grasp something, give them something where, things are connected to each other. And you show them that there is a relation between certain things which you are actually doing. And to make it more impactful, they should know why they are learning all this, right? So let's look at the second question. Which format helped you to explain why climate change happens and how to solve it? So why do you think, like, if the second slide is shown to you, this format you said is helping you, like Archana ma'am shared that this format is helping to understand uh, exactly how climate change is happening and how to solve it. The solutions are given. What exactly is happening because of climate change, right? But the first slide could not explain all this. So more than delivering the content, more than telling them that these are the things, actually here we are showing students how to connect things, right? How to build, connecting different ideas, different things into, and building up or coming up with some solution. So do you think this second slide, how does the structure help you apply what you know in real world situation? Do you think that the second slide actually helped you to connect with the real world context?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So the second slide, this shows you that there is some context, and that context is climatic change, right? So this actually has helped us to think beyond the pointers that the teacher has delivered. So here exactly we are looking at how climate change, which is a bigger, it's a context, it's a global context, right? It's a bigger idea. So this climate change has is caused, and it has some effect, and there is some solution that we can solve. So so this particular thing, this ideas, you know bringing different things and connecting them is nothing but a concept. So exactly what we did in the first slide. It was a surface learning. It was we were just given little time to memorize the pointers. I'm glad we could at least, Deepa ma'am could recollect 5 to 6 points from there. And these pointers were all scattered. They were not organized, they were disconnected from each other. So points were randomly displayed and told. Even when Deepa ma'am told, it was quite randomly. She picked whatever she could recollect, the short sentences. It was easy to, keep in mind. So we could get that back. But the second slide actually helped us to learn deeply and the application. So connecting it to a real world context, understanding the relationship between all the three, headings there, which was cause, um, effect, and the solutions, that we could see a deeper learning we could see in the second format, right? So here I would like to bring that what exactly is conceptual um, teaching. So we as teachers, we look at our topics, right? And when we go to the class, how to bring that concept. See, any teacher, when the teacher wants to teach or she goes to the class, it's very clear in her head that, and she wants that whatever I teach today, every student of my class should get it, should be able to understand, and should be able to solve in a real world context, should be able to take it, should not forget, right? And should be able to do well in their exams. This is the ultimate motto or aim of every teacher, right? So, to make that learning impactful for students, we have to look, or we can just mold or modify our teaching method from a content based to a concept based. Now, what is a concept? It's big ideas. I would like you all to watch a video on this, and then we'll come back to see what exactly a concept is and what it is not. So I'll stop my screen share and I'll reshare it, sharing the sound. Please let me know if you can hear this.
It's visible, ma'am. You can play.
Right. Have you all understood the video?
Yeah. But it's not over. So, like, whatever, it was quite interesting. I was watching with a lot of enthusiasm.
Thank you, Ms. Archana. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish to get to know the response from other teachers also. Was it clear till here, or do you want me to play it? Because here, after this, we are going to see what a concept is and what isn't a concept. So we are going to practice here. So should I replay it or should we go ahead? Should I go ahead?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, I hope you have understood what a concept is. Can somebody explain to me what a concept is?
In a
Yeah.
nutshell, it's an idea. It's an idea, and then we work like it's something which is not exactly a fact. It's something that is more in your mind, an idea, a thought. So something. I mean, I'm not very clear about it. You know better. I'm just watching it today for the first time. But yes,
Okay.
it's an idea which we work upon for various reasons, and then accordingly the results probably would be there.
Absolutely. So concept is a big idea. So I always use this, for a concept. So a key concept, which is transferable. A concept is something which you cannot touch or which you cannot feel. Uh, it's a transferable thing that actually, for example, I'll give you an example and I'll explain to you. For example, if I'm teaching photosynthesis, so photosynthesis is a concept. More than a concept, I can say photosynthesis is a process, right? So it's a procedural knowledge. I have to give it to my students. I have to make them understand what is exactly photosynthesis. Now, for this, I want to bring in a concept here. Rather than telling them what is photosynthesis, this is a process. You have to get carbon dioxide, water, and these two will now help the plant to, in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, and then you get glucose and water vapor is released. So instead of giving it to them like this, you convert it to a concept. So pick a concept. Now, what could be the concept? Concept here, a big idea could be change. Now, what is change? We all know what a change is. A change is a concept that is, what changes to what? The conversion of something, the transformation of something. So now here, what are those things? We have carbon dioxide, we have water. These two elements are going to combine, are going to react, and all the certain processes that are going to take place are going to convert or change into another form, that is glucose. Now, this in my science class, when I take it as change, now students will show them the big picture that it is change. Exactly what is happening is change, right? So now this same change, when they will go to the social studies class, they'll be, applying it somewhere in certain concepts. They'll go to the maths class and they will there again experience change, right? Maybe in profit and loss, maybe in fractions, they'll see how a certain fraction is changed to certain improper fractions changing to mixed fractions, right? So then they'll take the same concept of change to a literature class, their English lesson or a language lesson, and there they will apply and see whatever in literature they are studying, they'll apply the concept of change. So change in various subjects, so it is transferable. So any concept you pick, it is a transferable element. So this is not a, I'll just go back to this slide. Yeah, these are intangible. That means you cannot touch them or see them. So in the previous video, there was a question, DNA. Is it a concept or is it not a concept? DNA was a concept or was it not a concept?
Ma'am, it was a concept because DNA we cannot touch it, right? We cannot. Yeah, we can through diagrams and all we can see it, but physically, just like an abstract noun, we can
Hmm.
feel it. We cannot touch it physically.
All
The
right.
same.
But you can
Other,
see it, right? Yeah.
yeah.
DNA, you can see it. You can see it through a microscope, correct? You can extract DNA from the plant cells and animal cells, right? So they are intangible. So what is a concept? Concept is intangible. You cannot touch. DNA is not a concept. DNA is a subject specific concept, right? A big idea could be DNA. You can say you can connect DNA, study of DNA to a system, to a relationship, identity. Identity is a concept because you cannot touch it and feel it or see it, but identity through DNA, you can teach students that the identity and the relationships on this earth is because of the DNA. Why are we like this? How we are is because of our DNA, right? So
Correct.
the relationships, we can show them because of DNA. So they are intangible. They are not facts. They are ideas. They are attempts to explaining something beyond what exactly the content is. And they really need some explanation. It's not an easy task. You have to actually explain to them, giving different, ideas and give different examples to make them understand. So some explanation is definitely needed. And in-depth explanation is actually needed here. And they can be argued against, right? So the concept has certain conceptual understanding is so beautiful when it is taught, when our teaching becomes conceptual teaching. It is like, puts children into critical thinking. It deepens their thinking. It provokes them to actually question. So your inquiry based, my previous session was an inquiry based. So inquiry based, provoking students to question, such are your concepts. So take these concepts to your classrooms and you will see that more than teaching them what, right? Teach them
Yes.
why. And why is nothing but your conceptual teaching. Show them why you are learning this particular thing. That will enhance their understanding. And how do you do this? Is a procedure. So there are certain steps of following this. So procedural knowledge is also given to them, and that's in the processes. Okay. So what is actually a factual knowledge? Why is actually the conceptual knowledge, conceptual understanding? And how do you do that? Is your procedural knowledge. Now, what is conceptual teaching? It is a teaching for deeper understanding, focusing on why of the content rather than what of the content. Now, let's see how our teaching practices are. When we go to our classrooms, we tend to, I was doing that. We tend to pick our textbooks, we tend to look at the topic, we, plan beautifully in our lesson plans. I'm going to do this activity, I'm going to do this activity, and, certain assessment. And then these are the subtopics I'll be doing with that, right? So our traditional teaching and conceptual teaching, they are a little different from each other. So let's understand our practices, and I would like you to give me and tell me how are your practices currently, right away. Okay, as of today, how are your practices? So just look at these points. Traditional teaching, it emphasizes on more on facts and recalling, memorization, recollection of facts, retaining the facts, right? Whereas conceptual teaching, we are focusing on the big ideas and deeper understanding of the content. Then you have traditional teaching. Definitely it's teacher centered because you are delivering the content, you're lecturing the content. So it's definitely teacher centered. Whereas conceptual teaching, you're putting students to think, you're putting students in the thinking zone. Therefore, it is student centered where a lot of exploration takes place. Then traditional teaching focuses on certain procedures, right? But here There is a meaning, deeper meaning to studying and deeper meaning to learning, and also transferring the same thing what they learned in your class. They will go to the other class and they'll say, oh yes, my teacher, science teacher taught this, and I can so very well relate it in this lesson too. It's transferable. They will be able to take it to a different context in unfamiliar situations too. Then you can see this is more of a passive learning. I'm sorry, there the last point in traditional is passive learning. And here the conceptual teaching, it focuses on learners becoming active learners. Learners where they reflect on what they have learned, learners where they are able to connect to different scenarios, right? They're able to grasp it and they're able to connect the relationships, they're able to take it to different classes, and they're able to talk about it. So that is your conceptual teaching. I hope traditional and conceptual differences are very clear here, and I would like now any one of you to tell how are your practices as of today. Is this something new, or you have been doing conceptual teaching, you have seen your students taking this concepts or the big ideas to different scenarios? Yeah. Okay, I'll reframe it. How is your teaching? Is it a traditional teaching? Just look at these points in it. Or is it conceptual based teaching? None of you?
Ma'am, since I'll just say, I mean, I'm not teaching. I left teaching about 10, 15 years ago. But I have always been in favor. Now, this term has come now, conceptual teaching, as very much against traditional teaching because, we were giving rote information to our students. They just mug up and they pass the exam. But now I feel with the new education policy coming up, it's not just the passing of an exam. They have to learn to understand what they are doing, and then the effort of teachers should be to make the children use this knowledge what they've earned or learned in their school time in their future endeavors. So otherwise, teaching and learning is just useless. And another trend, which I'm sure everybody would have seen, that today when the results are declared, students are getting 100%, 99% in their board exams. But the same student, when he or she appears for the IIT or for NEET or something, they score a very low kind of a percentage. So why is it happening? Because the concepts are not clear. They've just mug up and written over there. So for me, I have always been in favor of conceptual teaching because here children have to understand what they are doing, why they are doing, and the application also.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
that is my point of view.
Yes. Even the question papers, if you see, thank you, Ms. Archana, thank you for that insight. Even the question papers we see, our assessments we see, our questions are what questions? Yes, more majorly. What? It's all relevant to the content that is there in the textbook. Why don't we just give them an unfamiliar situation? Why don't we just put them, in a different context and say, okay, now what do you think? So I have seen this when I taught photosynthesis, and I said, okay, now what about these plants that do not have green leaves? Do they still conduct photosynthesis, or how do they get their food? Simple question.
Excellent question, ma'am. This is excellent. Really nice.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it is, concept is needed. I'm not saying traditional teaching is wrong or we shouldn't practice it. No. Traditional teaching methods are the methods to even today. You have to lecture somewhere. You have to make them understand the content somewhere, right? But along with that, if you inculcate your conceptual teaching, bringing them, or taking them to to understand the bigger ideas behind the content, I can guarantee you that it is going to really make it impactful and meaningful for the students, and they will actually go home and tell the parents, today we did this, and do you know why this happens? So these are the phrases I have heard with my students. So I'm very sure this is going to be going to make the learners active learners. So let's see some of the benefits. Definitely, it fosters or develops or enhances deeper understanding, and the retention is really good. This is what is a challenge, right? We teachers say, okay, the student has studied, but then see in the exam he couldn't recollect, or he couldn't write, he couldn't fare well. Yeah, it's because the student is led into a memorization, and not everybody is good in memorizing the facts, right? So retention is really wonderful when your classes turn out to be conceptually strong. Then it promotes higher order thinking. Students actually are put in a critical thinking and creative thinking zones, so they come up with questions. So all the elements of inquiry base happen in the classroom. Then they actually tells the student the relevance of what they are doing today in the class, right? So it actually tells the student why whatever you're studying, why is it important, why is it needed, why do you have to study? So show them that relevance. So your conceptual teaching will actually show them that relevance, and where they can take it, where can they apply their particular concept. Then it increases engagement. You will actually see a huge difference in your classrooms, because it motivates the child. There's nothing called, the student is interested in the subject or not interested. It actually engages the student. Your plans will actually engage the student, and it will motivate a student to dig deeper into the concept. And finally, it addresses the misconceptions that are there. So this is really very important. And further, I will take you to some strategies you can apply. First is you can focus on the big ideas. So whatever topic you have, think of some big idea, you can bring it to your classroom, right? Via that topic, through that topic. Then you create a conceptual framework. I'll show you what a framework is. Create a conceptual framework. Then start provoking, posing some questions which are thought provoking. So students may come up with the questions. Absolutely fine. You can put the questions. Just try to build up their curiosity by majorly by putting them into a real world context. Bring your lessons, connect them to real life context which they can connect to, and they are amazing to be done. Project based learning. So think of a problem, show them the problem, a global issue, a local issue, the issue right in their house, or an issue connected to their surrounding, and drive your lesson. Then addressing the preconceptions and making it very personalized, all this will actively engage a student into your um, into your lesson. So put these things in mind. These are a few strategies I have listed here, but I'll show you some examples how you can actually plan. So yeah, what exactly you can do. This is I'll just take you, I'm sorry. Here, right. How do you design a concept-based lesson plan, right? So you have to keep these few things in mind. When you want to modify, I mean, I'm very sure Monday you're going to land up in your classroom with a certain topic, right? You can just today, think about it. how can you modify your topic to a conceptual based topic? So what you can do, think of a big idea, pick a concept, think of a big idea, frame some conceptual questions, okay? Plan some learning activities based on those the concept, what you're teaching, and then finally do an assessment, okay? I'm taking you to an example here. So, being a science teacher, I just randomly picked a particular topic. And my current topic, what I'm doing with students, is cell organelles. So, for cell organelles, I have picked certain concepts. Okay, the big ideas is I want to make the students understand about structure and the function. So, now when I say structure and function, I am teaching cell organelles, how each organelle, what is the form of it, you know, how a cell organelle looks like. For example, mitochondria, how does it look like? What is the role of mitochondria in a cell, in our body, right? I'm teaching that. Those are my subject specific things. But here, now do you think structure and function is transferable to other grades, to other subjects too? Or is it no, it's only for science, it's only for cell organelles? Is it something like that?
No, it can be taken up in other subjects as well. Yeah, because this is a very broad kind of a term.
Yes, structure and function is a broad term, right? It's a beyond cell organelle. So I'm doing cell organelles with them, where I'm teaching them the structure looks like this, and because the structure is like this, it plays certain function. This is the role of it, right? Then I'm doing systems. I can also connect it with systems. System is a bigger idea again. So there are certain cell organelles in our body, in our cell, which are all going to perform a particular task. They all have different roles. They all are performing together so that a certain task is carried on in our body, right? That is a system. They'll take it to a social studies classroom and they'll say governance. Governance is a system where all components of the governing bodies are all coming together and working together to conduct a specific task in the society, right? So they can take that systems to there. Then school system. There are different elements or components in the school, all are functioning together and performing a certain task. Then comes interdependence. That also could be a big concept again, a big idea. Interdependence is where many elements are interdependent on each other. They're dependent on each other, right? So they have to work. Without one, the other cannot perform its task. Without the other one cannot perform its task. Organization. So, are you trying to get me? I'm trying to explain to you exactly how the topic, what I'm going to take it to class on Monday, is cell organelles, but I'm going to drive them or take them to the bigger concepts. Cell organelle is something which I have in mind, but via cell organelles, I'm going to take them, make them dive deeper into certain concepts. Then certain conceptual questions. Two, more than enough. How does the structure of an organelle determine its function? Now look at here. It's not saying, what I have taught is mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, and its role is to supply energy to the cell. That's it. Now here, why? How does the structure? Mitochondria looks like this. It has these things in it, right? How is that going to determine its function? So you're doing your subject specific concepts also, and you're putting them taking them to a bigger idea too, right? Then the big ideas here are given. You can see specific structure is a big idea, function is a big idea, systems are a big idea. So how all these things are connected. Then learning activity, inquiry based activity, conceptual approach is certain things. Like I will show you how my learning activity looks like. Yes, here. So my phase one is exploration. What are they exploring? Concept. Cell city is what they're going to. So I'm going to divide them into small groups. Then I'll assign each of them, two two organelles each group, and then they will research on the structure, function, and how they are interdependent on each other. Okay. Then you have phase two, conceptual framework. So I told you how a framework looks like. You can construct a concept map, connecting, drawing connections, building those relationships and showing the connections between different structures. Then you have application through analogy. Analogy is something I love. And in science, there is an opportunity to give a lot of analogy. You can connect it to a real world scenarios and tell them this looks like this. What is a cell membrane? What is a cell wall? It's like the gate of or a wall around your school campus. you know so something like this. What is a nucleus? It's like a main center of the city. So certain things you can connect. That's an analogy. You can show it to them. So application through analogy, students will be able to quickly connect, and it stays with them. It stays with them forever. Then finally, gallery walk. So all the group students, they, now that they have come up with an analogy, they can, I have decided, I have planned for my class that they will do a role play. This is what I'm going to do in my next week lesson. So here I have put gallery walk. So they are going to create analogy and they're going to display it for all the students to uh, for the feedback, for the peers to go around, check, and give them a feedback. So and the feedback could be in a certain particular format. I noticed, I wonder, and this reminds me of this. So they can reflect, give a very constructive feedback to each other. So this is how my class is going to look like on from Monday on. So I've also decided on assessment. So assessments could be formative. In a formative way, I could ask them. They have already, through my activities, drawn concept map. They have come up with analogy, and they have this, group discussions in the classroom while they were discussing. I had kept a format for it. Like I took a spiderweb discussion, then I took another method. So the anecdotals will be taken while the class is conducting discussion, and then the students give peer feedback when they're taking a gallery walk. So all this could go as your formatives. And the summative task could be a performance task. So here, performance task, it's again there's a model called grasp model. There's a model, raft model. So there are certain models where you can use to build a performance task. In near future, I'm going to take up a session on this, how to create or design a performance task. And then you can build criteria so that the students are self-assessing themselves and they're peer assessing also. So you can build certain rubrics, you can build certain criteria and give it to the students. So there they assess themselves, they assess their friends, and with that, the understanding really gets stronger. So these are certain assessment methods you can use. So these are the simple ways you can, actually modify your particular topic and look at this framework. The framework is really very easy and simple. You just have to connect it with a certain concept, connect it with a real world scenario, and bring to life your lesson, right? So this is what has helped me to move out of my traditional practices and modify my classrooms to an engaging classroom, to really making it meaningful for my learners. So I really wanted to bring this to all of you. Thank you so much. I would like a small feedback or a reflection from your end.
Ma'am, since I've been pretty active during the entire session of yours,
Yes.
I'd like to firstly congratulate you. It was such a wonderful presentation, and wonderfully you've explained things. I really, really enjoyed being over here. It was
Thank
so meaningful, and it actually resonates with my idea because I also am in favor of, this conceptual kind of teaching. So it was so interesting, and you made it pretty interactive. So I really, really enjoyed myself. Congratulations, and really well done, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Miss Archana. That means a lot to me. Thank you so much. Yes, anybody else?
Yes, ma'am, indeed, it was a very good session, and it was very eye-opening session. So because being an English teacher, ma'am, see, since, I can relate to the concept, but I used to also do because I don't believe in memorizing it. I also make my students to clear the concept. Unless and until the concept is not clear, they will not be able to focus in future. So I also believe in same, but here the concept was more clear. Now how to plan it, how to prepare for the next session, or whatever it was more clear. So now
Thank
it was like direct on target. So
Yes.
thank you for that wonderful session.
I really want you all to take this to the classroom and see a drastic change in your students' interest and, performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Ma'am,
Thank
I
you
used
so
to
much.
do like that. I used to tell them to explain the chapter, but now it will be more precise. I'll be more with more planning and all. So I can
Right.
plan for.
Yeah. You can actually type concepts, big ideas on Google, and there are a lot of documents that give subject-wise concepts.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
So
Thank you
they are
so much, ma'am.
really helpful. Yes, you can, I mean, you don't have to think also, like you can just click and you'll get those concepts and you can pick and choose which one you really want to bring it to take it to the classroom and connect them with the global context.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Good evening,
Thank you.
ma'am.
Thank you. Yes, yes,
Uh,
sir.
Good evening, ma'am, and good evening, all. Ma'am, we have explained very well conceptual methods and traditional methods. So now we have to update ourselves and knowledge. So then we'll get the results with the students, and we'll make the very interesting that studies and academic things.
Thank you, Arun sir. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much,
for
ma'am.
joining. Thank you. Anybody else?
I believe it's been a wonderful session today, and lots of appreciations to Vichitra ma'am from the end of SNTTC. Vichitra ma'am, if you could just give a glimpse about the train the trainer session to the participants, as we have an upcoming batch in the month of August. It would be really great if anyone wants to join, they may get an idea about it.
Certainly, sir, certainly. So Sir has been the master trainer for me, and I have joined Sir's training sessions. Though I was already I have done my teacher trainer course. Um, uh, but the deeper understanding and practical knowledge I have received from Sir's sessions. So actually, the process of how to create your training sessions, what exactly the trainers, why training is something that it has really enhanced my training skills, and I have understood the format of how to go about what exactly trainers, the trainees or the people want to understand from the sessions. So this and exactly, I have my written notes also right in front of me. I never came across, in my previous training sessions where I did it, that what a person should know and why training is important, and what are the qualifications to be a successful trainer. More than a trainer, there are some life skills you need to be a trainer, some attributes you need to be a trainer. So those are definitely developed, and there are a lot of strategies Sir has brought it to me, and whatever you have experienced today in my session is all, um, um, I should say, is a takeaway from Sir's, um, the skills that I have developed due to Sir's sessions. So, Ravikant sir, thank you so much for this. It indeed has been, really helpful for me, and whoever is planning to join should definitely do this course. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for making my work easy, ma'am. Yeah, thank you. So, and before we wind up the